immediately. Himanshi, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
About a year and a half ago, you started Growth Gurus. Why did you start your own business? And is this your first shot at entrepreneurship?
Yes, well, I'm glad you asked. It is my first shot at entrepreneurship. I have been in different positions for the last 14 years of my career, working through different countries, different time zones. But I think the only thing that really stuck on with me throughout my experiences has been my love for Amazon. So I have always been in the e-commerce field whatsoever, and I started my e-commerce journey with being an ex-Amazonian now. So I think it goes back to just the days when I was doing something that was preset in place. So when you work for a company, you're really just following their lead. They have these set processes in place, and I realized that I thrive more when I've actually built something. And I think my hunger to do that just kept growing over the years. And with my previous job, I decided, you know what? I think it's high time I call it quits and do something of my own already before I die with
Mm.
it and keep thinking about it. So I wanted to just start. And yeah, that's the day I decided to take that chance and never look back.
Did you think about it before, or is it really the first time at this stage of your career where you decided it's the right time for me?
I had been thinking about it for almost a year before that, but
Okay.
it's just taking the leap of faith, which took me a little while to get to.
Okay. And did you start the business with someone, or is it just you?
I did start it with someone, a very, very close friend of mine and a colleague that I had known for a few years. It was not the best of the stories I like to tell, but I had a bad experience going through a lot of bad things throughout the first few months of the partnership, and it unfortunately had to fall apart. I think that was a very big turning point in my path for entrepreneurship, just understanding myself better. So I think what I have taken from that experience is that I am a little more clear in terms of what I want, and I'm very decisive now compared to where I was. I know the only person that I want to rely on probably is just me. And yeah, I think I'm going to make sure that I do not really ever let anybody take that place in my business or in any sort of partnership where I give 100% of my trust to someone and get nothing in return.
Oh, that's a great mindset to have because this is the only way we learn. We go through
Yeah.
this difficult, tough experiences, and that's how it's about moving on and learning from our experiences. So now I want to talk to you a bit about growth gurus. So what was the gap in the Amazon ecosystem that you saw, and then you decided that you wanted to build your company around this?
I think the reason why I wanted to really build my company was that I worked with an agency which had almost 500 clients that I used to work with, right? So I was managing 500 clients. We had about 300 plus staff members that were doing that. But I saw that, when a company when you sign a contract with any seller or any client, they were always handed down to someone that had lower experience to manage their account, right? So you promise them the moon and stars because that's what the sales team does, right? They like to sell, and they were really good at it. So they would sell and bring in the best of the clients, but we were not able to give enough to them as to what they deserved and what they expected. I wanted to create a company that understood the seller's journey more. So Growth Gurus is not about just getting anybody on board, right? We work with sellers who are a fit for us and who we can be a good fit for, right? So I want to be in the trenches with them, manage their business with them, also understand their backstory, how much investment, how much emotional attachment they have with their product, and what actually took them to build that brand and to get that to a level where they now need support from a third party to take that forward, right? So if I don't understand their backstory and if I'm not in the trenches with them, I will never be able to help them grow. And I like to make sure that I am a part of each of the businesses that I work with. And I'm still in touch with every single client of mine. is directly in contact with me, building strategies, growing. And I'm glad that we have been able to build some really good partnerships.
Mm. So, what are some reasons why you wouldn't get into business with someone? Is it because the business is not mature enough? Is it because there's no good relationship with the client? So, what are some of the reasons why you would reject a certain business opportunity?
I think it's more to do with my gut. So I've had some bad experiences with that where, I let things slide. I did not really was hard enough on putting down my foot and saying that, okay, this is possibly not something we should move forward with. And I let it slide. And I've seen sellers lose money, and it's not just money that you lose. It's you lose your faith. It's someone's bread and butter that they obviously give up, but then
Yeah.
they've been making wrong decisions. And I have seen that firsthand. So I made sure that when I was building my own company, I was able to choose the people that I would be able to help, right? So I want to make sure that anybody that I work with has a brand that can be something that I can support in terms of getting them the right growth, getting them the profits that they need. If I feel that I am not a good fit for them and I would not be able to give them the right kind of support, I will never work with them. And then vice versa. I want to also see what is their mindset in bringing in an agency. Are they going to treat me just as a third party, or am I their partner and they would be really taking my viewpoint and my suggestion seriously. So it as much as I want to just work with, I mean, you there's two ways of looking at it, right? So I want to not only understand the brand well, but also the brand owner well, if they can be a good fit in terms of partnership and just understanding and just having the right wavelength to work together.
It seems like you're building relationships with those partners of yours beyond just transactional, I'll do this to you and you just explain to me your problem, I'll fix it and that's done. So that being
Yeah.
said, how long would a client remain with you? Is it like over months, over weeks, over years? On average, like if someone's about to work with you, can you explain to us a bit about the nature of this relationship?
So I'm glad to actually tell you that any client that I have ever worked with in the last 1 year is still with me.
Wow.
So nobody ever left. So we practically have zero churn at this point, knock on the wood. But I think when you actually build relationships better than you build businesses, people will stick with you because they trust you and they believe you for what you do, right? So one bad month will not really affect them as bad as if you did not have a relationship. I think one thing goes wrong and they're off the contract. But I think because I build relationships with them, because I give them ideas and suggestions that is not limited to just my scope of work, but even beyond that, they appreciate that and they want to stick around and they want a partner in business that does that for them.
Would you be would you be willing to work with people who are on a tight budget, or do you have a certain standard when it comes to how much money they're willing to invest?
It's always good to have a good amount of money in your back pocket to invest because it's not what I need from you, it's what the industry demands, right? So to run an Amazon business or any kind of business, you need to have a certain kind of investment. And because I'm not a salesperson, and when I go on calls with any potential client, I try to tell them and explain to them exactly for what it is, and I tell them how much money they need, and if they do not have it, what is it that they are willing to invest. So, yeah, I mean, we do a mix of both. It's always good to go with someone that has enough budget to spend and we spend it well and an optimal amount of spend. But then if somebody is on a tight budget, we also try to mitigate that and try to work around it. If they really want to do something, we give them something that fits their budget and then take it from there.
Okay, I'm gonna press you a bit on this. So if I'm a company with a tight budget, what's the first thing you would prioritize for me?
So I would definitely first want to know what the tight budget looks like, right? Because now I have to work backwards from that. My product research for you is going to be very different from what I would do for someone that has an open budget. Then I want to understand what is it that how much money are you willing to invest in the first 6 months altogether, right? So that accounts for a lot of things. Just getting not just getting the product, but also advertising spend, the different kind of fee that you will be dialing in. And I gave a breakdown of everything just to give them all the facts in place for them to make an easy decision. And if they feel that this is something that they can sustain for the first 6 months before they start to see any kind of profits coming in, and they want to dive into it, I am there for them every step of the way. But if they are shaky in the beginning and they feel, okay, maybe, maybe not, I know that they aren't a good fit for me, and possibly I cannot help them because 2 months later they might just feel it's too much to burn and they don't want to go ahead with it.
Mm. Okay, I want to talk a bit about the industry itself. So, what's a certain trend you're seeing right now in the industry that you believe that sellers have to adapt to over the next 2 years in order to stay relevant?
So the market is growing very, very fast. So I actually sell for my clients in US as well as Canada, both marketplaces for Amazon, and both of them are rapidly changing. Good thing is that the Canadian market is in a very good spot. They are where the US market used to be before COVID, sort of. So it's still at a very good growth phase. You can spend less money and still get better results. Whereas the US marketplace is actually becoming very, very saturated. So it's tough to break into a lot of big categories currently. So if I have sellers that are new and are willing to invest into a certain category, I even help them understand that this is a tough category to be in. You will be competing with thousands of sellers that are selling an exactly same product. So if you do not have anything that is absolutely unique, that is different, and you will be able to generate demand for it over the months, then let's not do it. But the Canadian market is very different in that aspect. It's still growing. Every category is open. Your investment is much lower in terms of just advertising and marketing, and you can see better results. And we've tested out both. So yeah, I know that that's the biggest difference that people have to adapt to. But I think something being a seller on a marketplace like Amazon, I think one thing that people that any seller has to consistently do is stay relevant, right? So it's not like you just plug your system in once and forget about it. You have to stay in the know of what's new, what's trending, what's coming in. You have to ride the Amazon wave the way they want you to. If there is a demand for a certain product, and if you can bring in a unique proposition, might as well. But if you don't launch and let your business run for 2 years, it's going to die eventually. So
Mm.
you have to stay in the know of what is the latest trend that the customer wants, and the trends change every single month. There's something new that you have to watch out for.
That's actually really interesting. Well, a couple of questions come to mind. So, you have different strategies for the US and Canada. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Even for
And
each category, like, so it's not just US and Canada, just different strategies based on the regions, but also based on what category we are launching in or you are already selling in.
but assuming I'm selling the same product in both countries, you would sell it in a different
Mhm.
way. You would approach it in a different way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There's different the different regions, people look for different things. They research. So we have to set up a different kind of research for US market. There's the different research that we do um, for the Canadian market in terms of just understanding the competition, looking at what keywords are working, just understanding consumer behavior, how people buy, what times people buy at, what day in the week they're buying most at. So we have to understand, and there are different patterns for even the same category, two different regions can look very different in two different countries.
So there are so many factors to take into consideration. You're just naming a few right now,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
sounds a bit overwhelming. But so is this what Gurus does? So they keep track of the changing trends and assist your customers, in order to stay relevant in a very fast-moving market?
Absolutely. So we are like Amazon, we're also A to Z management. We take care of everything. So if anybody comes to me, I'm ready to take care of their supply chain. I can manage your logistics. I can manage if you want to launch more products to expand your catalog. I'm going to help you with that. I also help suggest new products if I feel something's doing well in the market and my client is going to benefit if they're able to launch that product. I give that idea out, and more often than not, they actually end up considering it and launching the product with me. So we have different ideas, and we help out as and when we can. Like I said, like we're not limited to just our scope. So I don't do websites as such, but then if I feel that, something, if a client changes on their website, might also help them boost their sale there and also on Amazon, I would suggest that too. So anything that helps them grow as a brand holistically is what my approach is.
Interesting. And you said you do everything from A to Z. So does that mean that you can take on a client who's just getting started on Amazon?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have a lot of those that just they don't know what product they want to launch. They have um, some amount of money for investment. And obviously their numbers are very different. So we work with those different numbers, but they want to launch a business, they want to launch a brand, but they don't know where to start, how to start. So I help them out with everything, even, and we have a lot of different partners in US as well as Canada. Even if they want to launch a business, set up their corporations, we help with that. I just pass on contacts for people that can actually help them out to set that up, then I take care of the Amazon side of everything.
Mm. I mean, it's clear that Amazon is dominating the e-marketplace, but is there something you think that is lacking that sellers are taking advantage of? Do you feel like there are some things in Amazon that still need to be fixed from your perspective because you've been doing it for a while? Do you feel like there are
Mhm.
certain gaps that people are exploiting?
Absolutely. I mean, what is any marketplace without a loophole? I think everything has a loophole. So I think what people are mostly exploiting right now is the different models of Amazon. Private label is, I mean, I think pretty much the most straightforward model that we have on Amazon, but there are different models where there's a lot of wholesale and there's a lot of retail arbitrage people do, and that is really being exploited. So you don't know you're actually buying it from a brand. And I'm talking about the big brands that sell on Amazon. A lot of times I see these people running courses where they teach you how to flip on Amazon, and people might do it for a short duration and then they end up getting their account deactivated and then they're never able to retrieve that. But it does happen a lot. A lot of sellers, they fake invoices, they just buy product from someplace, share an invoice from somewhere else, and Amazon sometimes ends up approving those, right? Because this is all system generated approvals that happen. So it's not their fault. I mean, they've tried to automate everything possible, but people do exploit that side a lot.
Mm. Now, I want to talk a bit about you. So, since you've been doing this for a bit more than a year now, almost a year and a half,
Mhm.
what has been the most challenging part of running your own business?
Oh, the sleepless nights. I think work never gets over. I feel when you're in a job, it's just the 9 to 5. I don't have any hours anymore. Like any time of the day, any time of the night, I just need to feel like working. And I think the more uh the more amount of energy and effort and hard work I put into it, the faster I'll be able to grow this business further. And the more I will be able to support the businesses that I am supporting right now, right? So there's just so much, like even if I'm sitting and I get a thought in my head that, oh, this is something I could have done for this particular seller and it might have changed something. So no matter what time of the day or night it is, and if I am up and if I can do it, I would rather just go in and make the changes. And that is the sense of ownership that you have when you have something of your own. You do not really bound it by time or hours or the money you make. What matters is how much fulfillment you're getting out of it. And I think that is what is more important to me.
Since you're at the top of your company, do you get, and you can really talk to your employees about some of the more strategic approaches that you're looking forward to? Do you get a bit lonely because you don't have a co-founder, you're always
Mhm.
working? Is this something I mean, is this something, I don't know, because a lot of founders talk about being a bit lonely. They don't know who to talk to, and they can't really share the secret of their business. They can't really share it with
Mhm.
anyone else. So is that something you feel as well?
I think that is definitely a drawback of being the only founder, but I think I've also maintained some really good relationships in my past companies and people that I've worked with and that have also built businesses or are working at really big positions in different companies. And they really are always there whenever I need them for any kind of advice. They're my seniors. So anytime I need something and they are always there to support. And I think in general, being an immigrant to Canada, basically, I feel that, being a women entrepreneur and an immigrant, I feel very, very welcome here. There are a lot of women entrepreneur groups that I am part of within Canada, and such helpful women that are just out there to cheer you on, help you out in whatever you need. Obviously, you cannot share the specifics and business secrets and all of that, but everybody understands the mindset and shares the mindset that you have. And I feel that is something very, very important for any founder out there.
Are you optimistic about the Canadian economy moving forward?
Uh, I'm actually not optimistic about US right now. Canada is okay. It could
Yeah.
be in better hands, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the best. We have already seen the worst, so it's only going to get better from here. That's what I feel about the Canadian economy right now. And at least on the online front, I feel that it's only the start of the growth for the marketplace for the Canadian marketplace.
Well, Himanshi, I live in Quebec, and recently Amazon had to move out of Quebec. And did this
Hmm.
have any impact you feel
Oh
on
yeah,
the market? Yeah. Can you elaborate a
absolutely.
bit
Yeah.
about how you felt this impact?
So, I have a lot of sellers that are based out of Canada and they sell prominently in Canada. And during very, very crucial times of specifically Q4, a lot of the shipments got stuck and we could not get them in because a lot of them were being anything that used to be going to Quebec was shifted on to Ontario. And then anything that would have been specifically sent out to Ontario was shipped to Alberta. And that was costing a lot because if I have a product ready to ship out in Ontario and I want to ship it to a warehouse in Ontario, it's going to cost me less rather than sending it out to Alberta, right? So people were paying 2x, 3x the prices just to send it further away. So it did have a major impact on the profit margins for a lot of my sellers. And obviously, there was obviously lag in between going out of stock and getting the new stock in. So they were missing out on sales too. So and Q4 is very, very crucial in terms of Amazon, just the overall holiday season. Like I would say mid November to like end of December is like very, very peak season for any kind of product. And if you lose sale at that time, that's a major, major loss. Like all sellers prepare for Q4 and they lost a lot of sale at that time.
Actually, I want to close with this. If someone has an Amazon store and they're looking for
Mhm.
help, why would they work with you?
Okay, I get asked a lot about the same question over and over. See, there's a lot of agencies that anybody can go to, right? The difference that you get with me is I'm not going to pass on a seller to a junior employee. I am going to be there. You get my 14 years of experience, which you will not get in any agency. You name it, and you will not get it anywhere because everybody will just onboard you and then you're passed on to somebody that probably was trained by them. I've done that, so I know that's how it goes. So you will be passed on to someone that's a junior, probably has 2 3 years of experience, is going to go to their senior for every small error that happens, anything they want to resolve. I am not here for that. I bring experience, I bring my strategies, I bring proven um, proven strategies with results that I have achieved in all the past years of experience, and that is what I'm going to dial in for you. So, and it's not just that, what I know, I'm going to explore further, find out how else I can help you, and I'm going to make sure I help you because I feel and I tell all my clients that if any moment I feel that I'm not the best choice for you and I cannot help you further, I'm going to fire myself. I would not let you do that. And I've done that before, and I'm proud of saying that I most of my clients have decided to still stick on and I still have them with me. So yeah, that would be my way to put that forward, that this is why someone should work with me.
Actually, thank you so much for your time. I love the confidence. Makes me want to open my own Amazon store. But anyways, thank you
Contact
so
me
much
when
for
you
doing
do.
this. Bye.